This month, on the litmus test, out and about, we're talking to a number of people who are key practitioners in their own educational field in the arts on the coast. Let's hear what they have to say.
The fastest growing sector of the economy is what could be called the creative industries. And that's everything through from art to design to architecture to software to digital, all of that. Down in Sydney, in the eastern half of Sydney, not just the eastern suburbs, but the eastern half of Sydney, about 10 or 11% of people are employed in those so-called creative industries. Up here, it is 1.9%. We've got to build those creative industries because they're the future.
What I see on the coast compared to, say, Sydney, and this is partly a demographic thing as well. Like, most people who finish school, who have interest in the arts or want to travel or they want something more in life, something more interesting, they leave the coast immediately. They're gone. So you've got this big void of, like, 19 to 35, they're all gone. And that's generally, a really creative, artistic period, and they go and do that somewhere else.
The importance of music and the arts, when you've got people that are drawn to it, that are born to do it, if you turn them away from it, if there aren't opportunities for people to develop those skills, that becomes the wasteland, the wasted youth. What else is there? But if you support the youth when they want to play guitar or they want to take pictures or make movies, and you support young people with those ventures, then you're creating a life skill, a life journey.
The key driver of our programs, I see now and also into the future, is the schools. And I think we've got a very excellent opportunity to build upon our already quite extensive program. I think music in schools, I think there's a lot of work to be done.
Some see university education as a direct route to a vocational destination, I guess, and I think it's a real shame because for me we're about sort of, I guess, emboldening people with more translatable or transferable skills, a broader sense of an education, which I think in some ways is sadly vanishing in the contemporary vocationally orientated university sector.
The Central Coast has always been what I believe quite sporting orientated. So for us to be able to access the arts for our children at a young age, I think is really valid. And we have found that we've always had strong supporters because not everybody fits into that mould of being the sporty rugby type or the runner, but they all have a need for gaining life skills. They all have a need for encouraging an inquiring mind. They all have a need for being able to be articulate as they grow older.
I'd estimate that out of the 5,000 kids who graduate from the HS, who leave school every year, there's possibly about 250 who would be interested in a career in the arts. So there's potential interest there, but there just aren't the job opportunities up here.
I think the perception here is perhaps, I think there's value perceived by music education or through music education, but I'm not sure that it's on the same level as what it might be in other parts of Sydney, for example, such as the Northern Beaches.
I've learned everything through trial and error. If I could box that up and give it to a kid in 3 or 4 years, that's what we aim to achieve here.
So for us, it's about increasing their confidence and self-esteem, broadening their verbal communication skills, and giving them that boost of creativity, a place where they can, I guess, share their ideas and their imagination.
When you look at arts training, music is what I know about mostly. It's very kid-focused, and it's all about getting the kids into. And I think it's something. I mean, everyone will support the idea of teaching kids and exposing kids to these things. But also, it becomes about getting the dollars because there are kids all the time. And I've given up on kids here because really it's the parents that want to go. And that's the truth of it. All these parents bring their kids. The kids are bored. Drumming's hard. Drumming's not for just for whacking. That's a part of it, but that's not a class. That's babysitting.
The more opportunities that we have to create liminal spaces, spaces that are between the academy and the community, between the experience of being a student and the experience of professional artists, is I think they're the kinds of spaces in which we can produce not only new skills and understandings, but also the beginnings of new networks.
What do you see in another 10 years' time?
Look,
are we moving forward on the coast?
To be honest, I actually think our children have changed considerably over that time.
Okay.
And I think that's obviously very much the pace of life, that things are very fast, the technology races sort of on them. And I guess personally I see an even greater need for the creative arts to be out there.
We need more investment in arts training on the Central Coast, because the Central Coast needs creative industries. It's an absolute economic priority for the area. And if we don't have local people trained in creative skills, pursuits and so on, then we won't have that nucleus of people who can begin to grow what's a very tiny creative industry segment.